Hello everyone, welcome to today's news charter. Let's begin with the prelims question of the day, prelims practice question of the day. Consider the following statements. Two statements are provided. Whenever you get a statement-based question, first check whether they are asking for the correct option or incorrect option. So in this question, they are asking for the correct option. Two statements are provided. First one, it fixes the number of seats, that is about Delimitation Commission of India. It is telling that the Delimitation Commission of India fixes the number of seats and boundaries of constituencies of Lok Sabha as well as legislative assemblies. So it is telling that Lok Sabha's boundaries and the number of constituency are fixed by Delimitation Commission as well as that of the states. So this option is correct. It is the Delimitation Commission which fixes the boundaries of both state assemblies and then the Lok Sabha too. Second one, it also determines the seats or to be reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in these houses. So a lot of people might not have focused on this particular information, but the fact is this is also correct. It is the Delimitation Commission which determines the seats to be reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly. So both the statements are correct. Take a note of it. One important bill which was passed yesterday in the Parliament is Public Examinations Bill 2024. Recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, the number of incidents of cheating and number of incidents of malpractices in examinations, especially those examinations conducted by the government, most probably state governments, etc., have been increasing. So in order to prevent such incidents, the government has brought up a bill called as Public Examinations Bill 2024. So the basic aim of this bill is to curb the leaks, malpractices, and organized malpractices. That is a group of people coming together and trying to leak the question paper in as a malpractice or in an organized way. So these things come under this. It is not very important point. It is not directed towards the students. It is directed towards those criminals who are trying to engage in malpractices. So the examinations which are held by the Union Public Service Commission UPSC and the SSC and railways, bankings, and all other computer-based examinations conducted by National Testing Agency. All these examinations come under this bill. What is the punishment given for people who are engaged in organized malpractices? 3 to 5 years of imprisonment, and for those who are involved in organized crime of cheating, they will face 5 to 10 years of imprisonment and a minimum fine of 1 crore. So the punishment is not important. The most important point is such a bill was introduced in order to ensure transparency and proper way of conducting examination. One thing. Second one, those examinations which comes under this bill, UPSC, SSC, Railways, Banking Examination, and computer-based examination conducted by National Testing Agency. All these 2 points are very important. This is a very important topic. Constitution, Jammu and Kashmir, Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Act 2023. So, according to this, certain important tribal groups were included under the state's tribal list of Jammu and Kashmir. Who are those tribes? Names of tribes are very important because earlier UPSC has asked a lot of questions related to the names of tribes and this tribe belong to which state, whether this is a particularly vulnerable tribe or a general scheduled tribe. So all these points need to be known. Inclusion of Pahari ethnic group, Gadda Brahmin, Paddari tribe, Koli tribe. All these tribes are inhabitants of Jammu and Kashmir, and at present they have been included in the Jammu and Kashmir's scheduled tribe list. This point is important. Remember the name of these tribes. So what is the procedure? So this is a normal fact which is important for prelims examination. Here, from this point, what we need to know is how does the government include certain tribes into the scheduled tribe list? So scheduled tribe list is provided by the union government. So what procedure, if a new tribe has to be included, what is the procedure that has to be followed? First thing, the government of that particular state should give a request to the central government to include that particular tribe under the scheduled tribes list. This is the first thing. Second, then the proposal will be sent to the Union Tribal Ministry, Union Tribal Affairs Ministry. The Tribal Affairs Ministry will send it to the Registrar General of India. Registrar General of India will try to conduct an examination whether this tribe has to be included under the scheduled tribe list or not. And based on that, it will forward the request to National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. So National Commission of Scheduled Tribe will place a report to the government. Based on that, the cabinet will introduce the Amendment Act, the amendment bill in the parliament. So the amendment bill will be passed. Only then the particular tribal community can be included under the list of scheduled tribes. So this procedure need to be known from both prelims and mains perspective. Zodiac light, a small, simple information, but very important information from science and technology perspective because space is an important topic under GS3. So, in a completely cloudless night, if you look at the skyline, you can see in the nighttime a lot of linear images of which are shiny in nature, small streaks of light passing through the sky. So, these are sunlight scattered by interplanetary dust. Sunlight that are traveling from sun towards the earth or towards any planet will get scattered because the space is covered with a lot of dust particles. So this is called as zodiac light. So from earth, when you see even with your naked eye, it is visible as a faint diffuse glow in a dark night. So this is called as zodiac light. So we need to know the science behind it. We need to know why this is happening. Why this particular article is important is because whenever we are sending a space observatory mission, there is a huge chance it gets affected because of the dust particles. A very good example is the Juno mission, which was sent to observe the Jupiter. The Juno mission solar panels are affected very badly by the interplanetary dust particles. So this is why we need to study about it. We need to know what exactly is the phenomenon that goes around. So the basic idea, basic theory, at least until now, is that these zodiac lights are prevalent because of interplanetary dust. Why interplanetary dust happens to a greater extent in certain places is because of the moons of the planet. This is the basic experiment, basic information which the scientists are telling. So they tell that, for example, let's take Mars. Mars has two moons, Deimos and Phobos. So what they tell us, Deimos and Phobos are rotating around, revolving around Mars, and then we have a lot of micrometeorites. Micrometeorites are small rocky particles that are revolving around the sun in the space. So at certain point, what happens is this micrometeorites will fall into the moon's surface. When they fall on the moon's surface, because this moon surface is filled with dust particles and the moons doesn't have enough amount of gravitational force, when such a body comes and hits its surface, the dust particles will start to scatter all around the atmosphere. I mean, all around the space. And the most important point is, even the atmosphere of Deimos and Phobos are not very strong. So, because of this, it becomes very difficult for such moon surfaces to hold the particles. So, the basic idea is moon surfaces are there. For example, Mars has two moons, Deimos and Phobos. When a interplanetary when an interplanetary meteorite particle comes and hits the surface of these moons, the dust particle will emerge from these moons and then it will spread all over the space. This will result in interplanetary dust. So these dust particles will result in zodiac light, that is scattering of sunlight. So this is a basic phenomenon. Try to Remember the phenomenon, it will help you in your in prelims examination. Financial transfer to state. You all know that from the amount of tax collection the central government gets, a certain amount has to be transferred to the state government. According to the 15th Finance Commission report, 41% of the total tax revenue has to be devolved. That is what we call as vertical devolution. It has to be devolved to the states, to the state government. Earlier, according to 14th Finance Commission, it was recommended 42% should be shared. 15th Finance Commission told that we can share 41% because at present Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are union territories. So the extra 1% will go to Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory. In the recent times, according to the reports, the gross tax collection of Union government has actually increased. It was 14.6 lakh crore in 2015. At present, it is 33.6 lakh crore. This shows that more than double. It has more than doubled. However, when you take the amount of money that has been transferred from the center to the states, it is less than the proportion in which it has grown. So, based on the reports, it is very clear that the central government's tax revenue has been increasing, but the central government's devolution of money to the state government has not increased to the same proportionate amount. So, this shows that the state governments are not getting the amount of revenue which they should actually get. Out of all this tax collection, even though the amount of tax collection for the center has increased, reports clearly tell that it is the cess and surcharge which has increased to a greater extent. The problem here is cess and surcharge are not to be devolved towards the states. Cess and surcharge can be kept by the central government for its own purposes. It do not have to spend it. It do not have to send the money to the state. So this is again a problem towards fiscal federalism. Financial transfer to states, either as tax devolution or grant in aid, did not proportionally increase. So together with the statutory grant that the center has to provide to the states, the total financial transfer as well as proportion to gross tax revenue were only 47% in 2023 to 2024. The statement is very simple. It is telling that out of, if for example, the center is collecting 100 rupees, out of those 100 rupees, the center is giving only 47.9 percentage, that is 47.9 rupees to the states. Remaining is kept by the center itself for its own revenue expenditures. So the what as a UPSC aspirant, what we should know is that states should get good amount of revenue, good amount of grants from the center, so that the state can focus more on infrastructure development, the state can focus more on socio-economic welfare of the states. So this basic information will be helpful in mains examination under GS3. Mains question of the day: explain the importance of Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management, that is FRBM Act, was passed by the union government long back, in which it was told that we will try to reduce our fiscal deficit, revenue deficit. All these things should be reduced by the central government as well as the state government. So the importance is, for a country, fiscal deficit is very important because it shows the confidence of the economy of a particular country. What measures can be suggested to reduce fiscal deficit of center as well as states? Measures that has to be given, that has to be followed. Why we ready committee and then its recommendation. That has to be read about. You will get a complete idea about what are all the things we should be following in order to overcome the fiscal deficit. So you can study about it and you can write answer to this. Mains pointers: tax to GDP ratio. So the tax to GDP ratio of India has increased to a greater extent in the recent times. It has become 11.7 percentage of GDP in 2024. This is especially because of increase in direct taxes. So in the mains examination, GDP is an important topic. Fiscal responsibilities, the fiscal policies of government, monetary policies of government are very important. So you can use this in your answer. That will be all for today. All the best. Study well. Let's meet tomorrow.